scores. Here's Rob Brooks.
Well, 7-0 in the Big Ten doesn't sound too bad as we have passed mid-January and, of course, Big Ten play. And that matches the 2023-24 season when the Hawkeyes also started 7-0. And after two big wins at Carver this week by very similar scores, the Hawks defeated the Ducks of Oregon 74-66, and then yesterday Michigan State 75-68 in a top 15 showdown. Now 16-2 overall. Great to be back here at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar for Hawk Talk, as we will certainly talk about those two big victories, and then the game coming up against Maryland, Ohio State on next Sunday. And they also include your questions, so if you want to jump in the conversation at any time, you're welcome to do so. We've already got some questions that have come in on the email and also here at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. Our social media is at Iowa_Learfield, or you can use hashtag Hawk Talk, Facebook.com/HSP Learfield. The U.S. Cellular text line, 319-853-8344. And, of course, you can always email your questions to HawkTalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. And Coach Jensen, front and center, and a couple of big awards we got to start with today. That was nice to see. Not only the player of the week in the Big Ten with Hannah Stuelke, but the freshman of the week for Addie Deal. And always nice when those come about, right? That means you've done some good things.
It really is. I was really pleased for both of them. You know, they've just been putting in the work and the time, and I think I've said before, as the year started with the Hannah, I think she was feeling a lot of pressure and nostalgia mixed together of just this being her senior year. And I felt, about 3 weeks ago, you could just feel her playing with a little bit of a lighter, a little bit more of aggressive. And I just think her on-the-court leadership has been tremendous. And, she's just making hard plays. She's, really seeing it. She's got a high IQ out there and knowing when she wants the ball and when she can take advantage of it. So I was so pleased that she got that honor. And then, of course, Addie, she's just doing a tremendous job. And, she's had to wear a lot of pressure because she came in very, very highly heralded. And, all of them just have to learn the game is bigger, faster, stronger. And sometimes you have to remember that Hannah hardly played as a freshman. And now Hannah is, one of the best players in the Big Ten. She played behind some pretty good people, right? But it takes just a little bit of time. And a lot of times in games you see glimpses of what everybody assumes is going to happen and just be automatic. But if Addie, as she got more comfortable and gets more confident, just been so great to see the things that she's been able to do. And certainly her Oregon game was great, but she shot a great percentage last night. Was a different type of team. They had a little bit more pressure, needed a little bit more here or there, but, being able to utilize her and just know that she's a lot more confident now and able to really make, I think, some really great reads. So I'm thrilled for both of them. It's been a heck of a good week, that's for sure.
What was it about eights on Thursday night against Oregon? 18 points for Hannah, and then had 8 rebounds, 8 assists. We had a triple-double watch, and then, of course, Addie jumps in there with her career high, season best of 18 points.
Yeah, that was just, it was kind of funny, the 8s, I kind of like the number 8. Little side note, I wore number 8 when I was a pro player in Europe. So that
I knew there had to be something to it.
No, I didn't even really notice the 8s, but I didn't never minded 8 because I wore that. But, yeah, that was just a really great game. I think Addie and Hannah were huge in that Oregon win. So it is kind of unique. I think the most impressive 8 was the 8 assists by Hannah, which is pretty awesome. She was really reading the doubles, or when they came to help, she was really hitting it at the right time, which was really great to see.
Do you feel like she's really improved her passing?
Yeah, I think Hannah has, she's always had a pretty good IQ. Just shifting to this offense, which has a little bit more more high-low. We'll talk about it later, but sometimes we make decisions a little bit too quickly, and we ended up turning it over. I thought the only thing I would critique Hannah and our whole team is we had some unfortunate turnovers at unfortunate times. But I think Hannah has got a pretty good sense in knowing when and how, and I think she typically is making the pretty good reads with the passes.
And you have to really love the way that high-low has worked with Hayden and Stalky. They seem to be, as you mentioned, smiling, enjoying it, working together. But 18 of 27 combined by those two in those two ball games against some pretty good defense.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I know
you want a few more.
I take about 3 to 4 more shots, and then now we're talking, or makes, I should say. But, yeah, I think that's the thing I've always enjoyed about this team the last while, or I wouldn't say enjoyed. What I've been excited about is I really think we have so many steps we can make. Now, whether we will make, that's a lot up to myself and our staff. But if you watched last night's high-low game versus 3 or 4 games ago, you should have seen a jump. You should have seen that we're looking a little bit better when to pass it and why. I thought Chit Chat Wright had a beautiful lob pass last night. She didn't make that earlier. We had a beautiful pass to the corner, and we made the right pass to the corner from the wing because the defense was on the high side. Van Sluten had 3 points. Or 3 fouls. We did it perfectly. Instead of forcing it into Ava where Van Sluten's hand was, we made the read, how the defense was playing. We threw it to the corner. We went in right to Ava. Van Sluten couldn't get it. She wasn't going to touch her because she didn't want her 4th foul. So we're starting to understand things, the how and why a little better. And if we can keep stacking that knowledge and putting it into different game plans, I think that growth really, really could still be very, very exciting. And you could argue, I wish we would have done this about a month ago, but sometimes, when a team is a little more younger than it's older, it just takes a little bit of time to get those reads down and then to still play off of each other and not have it be predicated on an exact play.
We focused in on a couple 3 players right now, but then you have 4 players that reached double figures against Oregon, and then yesterday against Michigan State, 3 in double figures, but then 1 with 8, 1 with 9. So it's become pretty balanced where if you put too much focus on 1 or 2 players, there's somebody else can get you. And Chit Chat has been one of those. Kylie shot the ball nicely in one of the games, and, of course, the bench play.
Yeah, I think that's what's kind of been fun about this team all year long is there's not exactly one exact superstar. Now you can argue Hannah certainly is wearing that. Chat can be really exciting and potentially, but a lot of the times, it's a different 1 or 2. Ava has, how many times has Ava just been shining? Ava had a heck of a game last night too, but she was just maybe outshined just a little bit, individually by Hannah, maybe, right?
I don't know.
They were both pretty great,
good.
Right? But I think that's the beauty of this team is that, we're able to kind of have a hot night when the other person doesn't. And it's nice to see Addie's development come along because if she can come off the bench and give us a little bit of a different punch, Strimlow comes off the bench and she gives us a little bit of that swag and a little bit of that, that heart and soul. And when Strim's on, she's got a beautiful 3 and a beautiful pull-up. So there's a lot of different pieces that are kind of coming alive. And if we can get everybody being consistent at the same time, that's what you're hoping to really start to really see now. Ironically, Taylor McCabe has been a little off. She hasn't been really as off in my recent recollection. And, my job is to keep her light because she's really tight about it. She can't believe it. She's this amazing scorer. She's an engineer. She wants the reason and the why. And sometimes, it's a little bit off. But if we get her cooking again and we, have everybody else staying at a pretty good, consistent rate, it just becomes a little hard to guard,
Well, she knocked down a few after the game. Came out and
she
got
sure
some
did.
extra shots.
I know, and I kind of wanted her to go home and go just sit on your bed and or your couch and watch a movie. But
sometimes you just got to get out there and knock down a few, right?
Yeah, she's, she had a couple wide open looks, and she doesn't usually miss those too often. But I'm not worried. I told her. I said, you're gonna hit them exactly when it's needed. So no worries.
And as you mentioned last week too, you forget about all the injuries and finally had that regular starting lineup back intact, and everybody seems to be moving forward, which certainly helps.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing, knock on wood, but that's the one thing that we hadn't really had since November 18th, 19th, when Chit-Chat got her little whiplash and concussion. And then it just, different things happened. And when you can start to get people just playing the minutes at, their preferred position, even though a lot of them can be combo, but when you can focus on just that rotation in practice, people get more consistent with the angles, what they're needing to see, what they're, what they're wanting to see. And when I want to call certain specials, I can be more confident now that they have practiced exactly the specials that I'd like to run when they're at the 3. Because that person at the 3 is who I want to run it for. Sometimes when you have the injuries, you have to kind of make do, and then you make a different, concession. So having everybody healthy, that's been a really positive for us as well.
And you mentioned with Taylor, and she'll get back on track for sure. But the 3-point shooting, people have picked her up. 10 of 24 against Oregon, and then still 8 of 23. Not bad last night against the Spartans.
It was. I mean, what happened there is we shot too many threes in that stretch. Our inside game was cooking, right? And so why they were so wide open is because the inside game was dominating, and Grace Van Slooten had 3 fouls in that third quarter. So that's where there's more room for growth. And that's the hardest thing as a coach is I like to go fast, and I don't want anybody to think I don't have confidence in them shooting. Because the minute they have to, start to think about, was that a good shot? Was that a bad shot? Did coach like that? And it becomes robotic. Is getting them to be confident enough to be like, I like that shot, just not now. And that's the hardest thing for a team to get is we should have, I don't know if you guys remember in that third quarter, it was like 3, 3, 3, 3, right. 3. We went 1 for 6. And all of a sudden our post never touched it. And they were doing a pretty good job, and Van Slooten had foul trouble. But they were sagging off of them because they were trying to protect it from going inside. And so had we hit it, oh man, let's go, let's shoot it again. But that's the next step of confidence and understanding, like, okay, that makes sense. We're going to burn a little clock. We're up by 12. I'm going to get a ball reversal. If they're going to sag off of me on this side, they're going to sag off of me on the other side. I just got to swing it, get some ticks off the clock. In the meantime, if they make a mistake on the inside game, we're going to throw it in for a 2-foot shot, right? But it's the yin and the yang, and I didn't put the clampers on that soon enough. But I also don't want them to not look for it. But our percentage wasn't as great. But if we would have taken out those 5-6 shots that were shot too quickly, I think we would have been a lot happier with the percentage of that 3-ball last night.
One thing about Taylor McCabe's defense, the first loose ball, the 50-50 ball, to set the tone, Jan, right at the beginning of the game. She's on the floor. You get it. You get the possession. And that just says so much at that point of the game. That
play was huge. I'm glad you remember that. Because if you're going to win, you're going to win big games. Those are the things you have to lead the category. They're not in this box score. You got to be diving. You got to be deflecting. And you think about all those things that happened last night, because we started off kind of abysmally, right? We had 2 turnovers. We had a shot clock violation, but our defense held. And then in that particular, I think it was after a turnover, McCabe's on the floor, she ties it up, it's our ball, right? Well, then let's just think through the course of the game. How about Chit-Chat's half-court 3, right? They're always like lucky when you make it, right? But when you make it, good things are in store. How about when we go to the game and Ava Hayden has the wherewithal to just jack the shot up because at the end of the game, and it nicks the rim, so it's not a shot clock violation. It comes down, they rebound it, live ball, tick, tick, tick. Hannah slaps it out and gets a huge steal. That's another one of those balls, right? And there's just 3 or 4 key moments where this team just said, we're going to do whatever it takes every possession. And if you can get that gritty, blue-collar, blue-blood mindset is what we're trying to create, it puts you in a position that when you get this run that we had to withstand, we withstood it. And I think it all started because McCabe got on the floor. But I will tell you, today during film, we watched it. I always try to show the blue collar plays because you want to encourage that. It was a slow motion blue collar play because she had knee pads on. So sometimes you just dive and go after the ball. Well, she ran a little bit, went down her knee pads, and then bent down and grabbed it and tied it up. So the team had so much fun saying, "That's the best slow motion blue collar play we've ever seen, McCabe." And I said, "Hey, it still counts all the same."
She got down there, right?
She did get down there. She ended up on her stomach, but they were giving her a little static that she was a little protective with her knee pads on.
Well, she had a long way to go.
She did. She did.
And that's what Michigan State, that's their game, right? I mean, that's what they want to force you to do. And you've got to be able to match that intensity.
You have to. And then when you have a refereeing crew that's going to let it be every which way, you better hold on for a ride, buddy. Yep. And that's what we had to do last night. So I was really proud of them because I thought they handled it. They withstood a lot of physicality, and anytime you have a crew like that, if that's how they play with a lot of aggressiveness, and they're really in you. So it was extra special to win a game like that because of that.
Overall, what else were you really happy with looking at these two games, realizing the teams are kind of, you're starting to play the teams at the upper level of the conference, and that's something that you want to make sure that you match that. And it was a big week, and you came out on top, so you have to feel good. And what kind of just stood out to you in the two ball games?
I mean, our defense. Our defense withstood that cold burst of threes, the inopportune turnovers. It held. And that's where you're really, I'm proud of that, because if we can put a little bit, we're getting better and better with our offensive decisions. But what a team like Michigan State and what a team like Maryland will do and a team like Ohio State will do, they just up your blood pressure because of the way they relentlessly press. Interesting enough, Michigan State presses a little more than they did last night. So they must have been a little worried about the run outs, the leak outs, and then the 1 to 2 to 5, right? If you break that press pretty quickly, we have different ways that we can hurt it. We just got to get that next step to composure. First half we had 6 turnovers, second half we had 10. But out of the 10, we had 4 really huge ones that could have swung the game. If we weren't that stealthy on defense, it could have been a different outcome. But we had the wherewithal to not get too low, not get too high, just kind of stay in that moment. So I think that was the key of the game. But then the spurts of offense that looked really beautiful and really efficient, we're stacking more minutes. Now, if we can just keep stacking longer minutes and periods of time, I think that's when we can really start to see that improvement that can help us go, really successfully at the end of the regular season and hopefully, have a really fun postseason.
And I'm sure you showed the one play where I think all 5 players touched the ball and reversed it and got
that was beautiful.
Wide open shot. That's about as good as it gets right there.
And that's what's so fun, right? I think that is beautiful basketball, and I think that's the hallmark of Iowa basketball. That's what we really like to do. I think last night, what do we have? 30 baskets and 22 were assisted, right? Something like that.
23.
23 were assisted on that.
On 30, yeah.
And so, that's pretty doggone good. And that just is fun. I think it's pretty, and you just make that defense keep paying for that rotation. So you better believe we showed that one.
And 12 steals and then 5 block shots. It seems the block shots have increased here the last couple of games.
Well, we have some kids.
And I know they kind of like it.
We have some athleticism, right? Ava's got some hops. Hannah's always got some hops. Ava's just really big. Or Layla. Layla has some really good minutes. The hard thing for Layla is they don't get as many minutes sometimes, because this was a game where we were playing a lot of Hannah's and a lot of Ava's. Grace Van Sluten is a mixture between Hannah and Ava, and she's just a little thicker. But Layla got in there and played some really serviceable minutes, and she had a great walled up, and then she blocked her. We showed this too, and she blocked her, but just just really was a statement with that block. And that was one possession that was really huge. So even Layla got in on the blocking, but being 6'5", she can do that a little easier.
Now, you had a great look at Chit Chat's half-court shot. You knew it was in all the way.
Honestly, I did, guys. I mean, if I'd have been mic'd up that game,
I was right there.
It was weird, just where you can be on the sidelines, and Chat just is dribbling. And the minute she locked and loaded, I was kind of right behind her, and I said out loud, I go, "It's good." And then all of a sudden you just watch it and it splashes. And that was probably one of my most fun memories. I felt like I was in a mosh pit because she came over and I was like, yeah. And so she kind of gave me a half chest bump, and she didn't know if she should really chest bump me, right? And then I turn around and Kelly Levine is hitting me, and then someone just punches my shoulder, and I was like, where are we? Some punk rock concert. But it was really, really fun. That was a cool memory. And Chad, her shot is so pure. You got to be a little bit lucky, but I think every coach in America, you always let them practice those half-court shots because you might need them at the end of the half or at the end of a quarter or something.
Or a few years ago at the end of the game against Michigan State.
Absolutely. Lord have mercy, yeah.
Can't forget that one, right?
I'll have to talk to Robin Freilich about that. A little interesting story about that. Robin Freilich, she's the coach at Michigan State, and like many parents across the country, she had probably an 8-year-old daughter at that time who loved Caitlin Clark. And so Robin was a new coach at Michigan State. And, the kid just kept talking about Caitlin Clark. And so as the Michigan State head coach, she understood that because everybody liked Caitlin, so-and-so. And then when we played at Michigan State, if you remember, we played at home. Caitlin hit the shot, right, step back three. And Robin said, she's like, my kid is crying in the locker room. The kids were here. And her daughter was saying, I can't believe we lost, but I love Caitlin Clark. So I had to console my daughter that the fact she loved Caitlin, that she scored the three to win it. But it was just kind of funny. She's a class act at Michigan State.
And what a job she did at Ashland, too, before taking that Michigan State game.
She has an NCAA record.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, an NCAA record. It's crazy. She only lost 3 times. So anytime I can get a win over her, we're doing something right?
Yeah, well, that's the Big Ten, right?
Amen to that.
And now the Hawks have won 10 of the last 13 against Michigan State. So 1-0 against the Spartans this year. Well, before we take a break, want to remind you, if you want to jump in the conversation, couple ways to do it, as we have the U.S. Cellular text line 319-853-8344. You can also email your questions, hawktalk@hawkeyeradionetwork.com, and we've got plenty coming in that we'll get to as Hawk Talk with Coach Jensen, presented by Oaknall. And Oaknall's mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City area for 59 years. Oaknall is conveniently located near the University of Iowa Healthcare Complex, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye, and downtown Iowa City. Always a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Visit Oaknall.com to learn more. Also, throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hardworking values that are uniquely Iowan. Thank you to Iowa's corn farmers who lead the nation in corn and ethanol production, feeding and fueling us all. Go to iowacorn.org to learn how corn grows Iowa. We'll have more Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen just getting underway. We are presented by Oaknall, of course, live from the Watermilk Kitchen and Bar from Learfield.
Our mission at Oaknall is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oaknall is located near the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oaknall.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Iowa Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Ben McCullum. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
Save time when you shop online with Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee makes it easy to order groceries online through our app or Hy-Vee.com. Pickup is always free. And if you have a Perks Plus membership, you get free delivery and free express pickup. Shop online with Hy-Vee and you can create and save grocery lists, shop the sales, and get fuel savers. Talk about convenient. Order groceries online today. Check out Hy-Vee.com or download the Hy-Vee app.
RE/MAX is the official real estate partner of Iowa Athletics, and we understand there's a number for everything: square footage, down payment, interest rates. But how do you measure the trust you have in your agent? For a RE/MAX agent, it's not about numbers on a contract. It's being a trusted RE/MAX agent. That means you'll get honest advice, expert guidance, and someone who's committed to your success. Because while numbers count, trust is what truly matters. RE/MAX, the official real estate partner of Iowa Athletics. Each office independently owned and operated.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, presented by Oakdahl, live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar from Learfield. And today being Martin Luther King Jr. Day, there was some afternoon basketball as well on the women's side, and Michigan was involved in one of those games, and this was a top 10 matchup, and it was number 5 Vanderbilt defeating Michigan, who checked in at number 7, 72-69. Also, Ohio State got a 2-point victory against TCU, 71-69. Ohio State at number 12 in the country will be inside Carver next Sunday. Also, Princeton defeated Harvard 82-79, and UConn just continues to blow everybody out all over Notre Dame today, 85-47. So the Big Ten wins one and loses one this afternoon, and both out of conference games and good national matchups, just like the Hawkeyes have done to go out and play great competition. That's what all sets you up for the run in the Big Ten. And it's time to get to some questions, as the text line will go there first. Scott, showing game film, Coach, what percentage as far as good plays versus improving plays? I'm sure that's kind of a fine line too, but I'm sure they see both.
Yeah, they do. I tend to believe in showing the good more than the not so good. I think they replay it in their minds much more than everybody thinks they do. I might be upset about a turnover, and the person in Section A, Row 7 might be really upset about it. But I think everybody forgets that the person who actually made the turnover, they've relived it a lot more times than you have. And so you have to be really careful, especially with 18 to 22-year-old women. They're really hard on themselves. So I tend to show more of the positive, but it's also helpful, like if we didn't jam on a screen or if we didn't, make the appropriate read, you do have to show that. And if you show it in a group setting, it can save you time. So I'd like to think I'm always at least 60-40, if not 70-30. But what I always make sure we do is we end with, the most team celebration, the team rotations on defense, the team one more pass, right, is you end on that. So when they go into practice, it's a positive. But if I'm not under time constraints, and if I feel a team really is a little bit down, as even if we've played maybe not a great game, whether it was a win or a loss, sometimes I'll direct our video person just to show me all the good things, just to kind of get that mindset back. Funny thing about the world, it likes to tell you all the bad things. So I'm more of a proponent about trying to show the good.
And that also goes back and can instill some confidence, too. Hey, you've done this several times, so you're very, very capable of it, and that can somehow get into your memory and move you forward.
Absolutely. Yep.
One other question here. Brandon, in what ways have you seen Addie Deal improve since she's been on campus and now starting to and she's played well before, obviously, in games, but really had a nice week.
Yeah, I think she's just making a little bit better reads. Addie's always had a really nice three. Earlier, sometimes she wanted to default just kind of to catch and drive it. And I've seen her shoot the three so many times, but the game's a little bigger, faster, stronger. So, when she sees a person coming out, she kind of wants to rip and go, but she has plenty of time to kind of lock and load. And we're trying to work on that quickness of the read. I think that's been an improvement. That's what I really like the most. Regardless of the points against Oregon, she made the right reads. I think her defense is coming and the understanding of that. So I think it's just the game's so much faster with the high school kid. And I just think that she's just really stayed the course, and she's weathered all of that, and she's just now starting to reap a lot of the benefits of that. But I think making the reads and understanding when she can just pull a nice three versus having to you can over dribble and then you get in, you kind of get in trouble, and then you can't make the pass, and then you're kind of stuck. She's really understanding that a lot better, but she's done a super job.
Yeah, 6 of 6 for threes in the last 2 games, and she's got terrific range and not afraid. And sometimes freshmen might be a little hesitant. Not here.
No, and that's the one thing that's been nice. she's, even though I know it's been hard as we've had different conversations, but she's never ever let that, for what she's trying to do. But she's been really receptive, and that's the key. And I just think you just have to be patient with the process. And I think the people who support her the most, have to as well, because it's there's a lot of people that are working really hard, that are pushing each other and making each other better, and she's allowed that to happen. And I think we're really seeing that her confidence grow. And I think when you start to put kids in different environments and different situations, when they're readier to take all that on, and they might have think they're readier 3 or 4 weeks ago, but when you live and learn, and we don't always do anything always perfect either as coaches, but I think you hit that sweet spot, and I think she's really coming into her own. So I'm really excited.
Got to be really nice, for her to put in all that work and then to get rewarded not only on the court, but then today to be a freshman,
which is really great. I was so happy for that.
It's a great honor that can say, hey, this is why I do all these things.
Absolutely. So very excited for her.
Audrey has a question for Coach, as obviously Hawkeyes are off to a great start, and we've talked before about the great basketball in the state from Division I to Division III. Audrey went to Loris up in Dubuque and just knows how awesome all levels of basketball is in this state, and obviously you're a big part of that as well, and that just continues. It seems to get better and better every year.
Yeah, I think that's what the special thing about the state of Iowa. We support basketball. We always have. Really always have. Since the 20s, we had people, early 1900s, people had the opportunity in certain areas of the state. So just getting to be a part of it has been, just a great blessing, my whole life. And there's just a lot of good basketball being played. One of my buddies, he coaches at Simpson. He's a heck of a coach, right? There's just, my colleagues in the state, all the D1 schools. So, Allison, Bill, Tanya, everybody's working really hard to become the best that they can be. So I'm honored to be a part of them now as head coaches, but I was equally honored in the roles that I've served at Drake as an assistant and certainly at Iowa. So it does mean a lot. I'm really, really grateful.
No doubt about it. Audrey, thanks so much for your question, and we'll get back with more questions as we remind you that U.S. Sailor is a proud Sponsor of the Iowa Hawkeyes, U.S. Cellular wants you to make the most of today by choosing game day traditions first and scrolling a little bit later on. U.S. Cellular is built for us. Also, the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, proud to be the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye women's basketball all season, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. Learn more at uiowaenergycollaborative.com. We'll be back with more Hawk Talk with Coach Jensen. We are presented by Oaknall, live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar from Learfield.
Dives for lunch.
The Juicy Lucy. Essentially, it's a burger, but with cheese on the inside.
James Beard Award winners for dinner.
French technique, but Midwestern ingredients.
It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
Celebrate the legendary Donnie Baker with a night of non-stop laughs at the Donnie Baker Ron Sexton Memorial Tour, coming to Riverside Casino and Golf Resort. On Friday, January 30th, hear fellow Bob and Tom Show comedians Bob Zaney, Greg Hahn, and Kostaki Economopoulos share outrageous stories and never-before-heard moments from the road. Purchase your tickets for this heartfelt and hilarious tribute now at riversidecasinoandresort.com or stop at our gift shop. It's going to be a night of laughs you won't forget.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
You asked for all the extreme internet performance at an all-in price, and we listened. Get 1 gig internet with a 2-year price lock and everything included. Unlimited data for non-stop streaming, powerful Wi-Fi for enhanced coverage, built-in online threat protection, and internet equipment. All for just $65 a month for 2 years. It's the extreme 1 gig internet deal you asked for. Call 844-4FASTER or visit extreme.com for details. Offer available to new customers only. Price doesn't include one-time charges, tax, and government fees.
At Mid-American Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Save time when you shop online with Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee makes it easy to order groceries online through our app or Hy-Vee.com. Pickup is always free. And if you have a Perks Plus membership, you get free delivery and free express pickup. Shop online with Hy-Vee and you can create and save grocery lists, shop the sales, and get fuel savers. Talk about convenience. Order groceries online today. Check out Hy-Vee.com or download the Hy-Vee app.
In Minnesota, we don't hide from winter. We embrace it. When there's a nip in the air, we take on the trails. For every layer you wear, there's a new experience waiting for you.
It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Coach Jensen, presented by Oaknall, live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. And don't forget that Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and you can treat your special someone to a romantic evening right here and enjoy an elegant 3-course dinner featuring your choice of prime rib or Atlantic salmon. I've had that several times. It's very, very good. A cherry kiss salad and a chocolate-covered strawberry for just $39.99 a person. Each table is welcomed with a glass of champagne and a large stem rose, setting the tone for another unforgettable night. Reservations are limited, so visit their website at watermillkitchen.com to reserve your spot. Also, share a taste of Iowa tradition with the Eat Shop's famous cinnamon rolls and handmade pies. They're worth every bite. You can pre-order now at theeatshop.com. Iowa and Maryland. Hawks hit the road again on Thursday. That is a 5 o'clock Central tip, so we'll be on the air along the Hawkeye Radio Network. Drive time at 4:30 as Maryland stands at 17-3 and 5-3. And just got back from the West Coast, taking on USC and UCLA. We'll break down the Terrapins in a little bit, but let's go back to some questions that came through. Yeah, we do. I'm filing through them.
I know. Pretty impressive.
Yes,
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, they are in tune.
I know. I appreciate that.
As always. We've talked about all the close games, and Casey wanted to mention that, some are better than others, but the key thing is that you have come out on top. And can you just talk about how it has changed things maybe from year to year to pull through those tough wins instead of losing them?
Yeah. I mean, I think, every season when you coach, it just has different characters. It's like a book, right? And you're kind of writing the book as the year progresses. And you have these different personalities and you have different strengths and weaknesses. And I've always thought, what happens earlier in the season can really kind of dictate who you become. I've always think if you get one of those close ones to fall your way, right, if you create a break, maybe not just waiting to get a break. And so that's usually the difference between years is kind of if something goes your way or if you create it, and the makeup and mentality of your leadership. Certainly the coach is always, if it goes south, it's our deal to figure it out. But this team has just a lot of resiliency. And so, I think Casey commented that some of the games weren't so fun to watch. But I really think sport always and will forever mimic life. I mean, some of the days we all live aren't so fun. You have a bad day, the boss doesn't like it, you spill your coffee and your flat tire, and it isn't a fun day. But it's how you really approach the day. How do you end the day? And I think that's what sport is. And so, I've coached long enough that I'm thankful for every win, and I can be really salty if we didn't look great. But if you find a way to figure it out just enough so you can get a win out of it, I think that just is a really positive characteristic in and of itself. Because everything I think we try to do as a staff, and I have a great staff, is we really try to do everything we do on the court to give them lessons that when they go out into the world, when they do things far more important than trying to beat Michigan State or Maryland, is that they have these tools and this skill set that's going to help them know what to do when the tire's flat or the coffee spills. And that's what I think we're seeing in this team. They find ways. They lean into moments. They don't back down when I think last night we could have, and me included, I could lose my mind on turnovers sometimes or a bad call. It's like you kind of catch yourself and, you have okay, next play. And I think that's what this team has done. They've done enough of that forward thinking that they turn kind of a tougher day into a good one because of their perspective and how they react to it.
And the key thing is, and we've discussed it, if you don't play great, hey, a win is a win. They're very important. Oregon came in here, fought hard, and then lose a double overtime game yesterday in Madison.
Absolutely. If you let a disappointment turn in, stick around, this Big Ten is tough. I tell you what, if you even think you can play anybody that you perceive that's not as good, you're going to be in trouble. And that's, I think, sometimes I get a lot of questions. Well, this is the meat of the season now. To me, the meat of the season started when we played Penn State. Because you lose that one, then you don't have the opportunity to separate yourself and, stack. I talk a lot this year about stacking it. Every game is hard for different reasons, and if you can pull it out for whatever reason and get yourself in that win column, it's a good day.
Yeah, so you look at Wisconsin, they've beat Michigan State and now Oregon and Northwestern. Looks like they're playing a little bit better. They took Illinois to the wire yesterday.
I know. That would have been nice if they'd helped us out with that. But
down the road.
Down the road. But, Northwestern, I just think so highly of Joe McEwen. He just, he may not sometimes be able to attract always the best student athlete. He's got the greatest students, but he's got game plans and he doesn't have all those wins for nothing. So he's got really good counters to a lot of things that everybody likes to do. So now that we're done playing him, I'm usually for him. Especially it's his senior year, it's his retirement year.
And he'll win some games.
Yeah, but I don't want. I prefer not to play him in the tournament. Let's don't get too sentimental.
We won't worry about that today,
right?
Though, right? Anthony from Des Moines, just wondering how often do you talk to Coach Bluter, and then, why not a statue or name on a court somewhere? It's all she's done, huh? That doesn't sound bad.
Hey, I'm been the president of her fan club since the day I met her in '91, so you don't have to convince me. But she's doing great, and I'm certain that she'll continue to be recognized as she certainly should. It's busy. She's busy. The reason she did retire, this job, there's not a lot of off days in it. And her husband, Dave, he's sacrificed, and she loved every second, but they're doing a lot of traveling. And she's doing selected Peacock games and NBC games and Big Ten games. Lisa doesn't really have an interest to really do that full time. She doesn't want to fly all over,
week, right? Yeah.
She'd like to go to New York. She would like to go to Chicago. She would like to go to certain venues. And then she wants to do a lot of travel. And she's certainly at all of our games. So I see her when they're in town. Her and Jenny Fitzgerald, they'll be my lifelong best friends. Jenny and I played together at Drake, along with my lovely spouse, Julie. We played at Drake together, and Jenny is just stellar. Jenny lives partly in Florida, or she goes to Florida, seeing her parents and helping them as they're aging. So every now and then, whenever we're all in town, the gang gets together. We might have a little drink together and break it all down. But they're forever part of me, and I'm forever a part of them. But when the chips are down, they're there. When the chips are sitting great, they're there, and everything in between.
Is it tough for Lisa to just sit down and watch a game?
No.
Okay.
She and Lisa, or Jenny, both said
get into coach mode.
They get into coach mode, but they don't. Lisa does not miss the stress of this one bit. Not one bit. She misses the camaraderie and the kids. But the stress of really having to try to win and then do it again, the life that she gave to that, and, now all of the, just the swirling of, intensity of everything from social media to the rev share to the NILs. I'm really happy that she got out, because it's the job I took a year ago was markedly different already from the one that Lisa left. The job I have today is markedly different than the one I took. It's just the roller coaster of the intensity of rev shares and NILs and agents and all that stuff. So I'm really happy for my friends. They miss it. They live it with us, but they sleep a little better, I hear.
Yep. Gained a few years of life, right?
Yeah, but they miss the people for sure. They miss, and that includes all of you. So
these are the fun times, right?
Absolutely.
Well, we'll talk about the Maryland Terrapins when we come back. More Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen. We are presented by Oak Knoll and live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar from Learfield.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oak Knoll is located near the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Despite the unshakable Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk rivalry, there is one thing Iowa State and University of Iowa fans can both agree on: getting hyped for Unleaded 88. It's cleaner burning and better for your engine, and it's cheaper than other fuel options, making Unleaded 88 the clear fuel choice. If Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk rivals can agree on it, you know it's worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88, grown by Iowa corn farmers.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Xtreme Arena, home of the Iowa Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Ben McCullum. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
You asked for all the extreme internet performance at an all-in price, and we listened. Get 1 gig internet with a 2-year price lock and everything included. Unlimited data for non-stop streaming, powerful Wi-Fi for enhanced coverage, built-in online threat protection, and internet equipment. All for just $65 a month for 2 years. It's the extreme 1 gig internet deal you asked for. Call 844-4FASTER or visit extreme.com for details. Offer available to new customers only. Price doesn't include one-time charges, tax, and government fees.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who can appreciate building a legacy, it's John Deere. We've been growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Remaining moments of Hawk Talk as the Hawkeyes get ready for Maryland on the road Thursday night, and then the Ohio State Buckeyes in town on Sunday. Then we'll be right back here for our next Hawk Talk on January the 26th, as hopefully talking about a couple of Hawkeye victories as the Hawkeyes now slip into the top 10 in the AP, and that's a nice little feather for the Hawkeyes at 16-2, as that's the first time this year, and really since the Caitlin Clark era, that the Hawkeyes are in the top 10. So I know you don't pay a whole lot of attention to rankings, but kind of nice to be sitting there in the top 10. That means you've done some good things. Yeah,
we have done some good things, and it's a fine line. Today at practice, I just try to tell the players, we're a little tired after the game, right? Is like keeping that standard and chasing greatness. And, now you get another notch on the run. But, none of that really matters till the end. I just really think it's so much about the process. It's so much about enjoying this day and trying to be the greatest you can this day. And, I think sometimes the demise of teams is when now you get caught up, I got to stay in the top 10, and we're in the top 10 is like, it's a nice honor, but there's a lot of great teams. Yep. And, it doesn't.
And it'll fluctuate.
It fluctuates, and it has all the years, all the weeks, right? But it is a nice honor for this team, and, I hope they enjoyed it, but I don't really fixate on it because, I just really want to be at the end of the year, if we're talking about just hopefully you're one of the top 16.
That's what matters.
And get to the NCAA tournament.
And what matters right now is the Maryland Terrapins, and it's the Civco game plan, as precision matters most when your loved one is undergoing an invasive procedure. For over 40 years, Civco has been a trusted provider for image-guided procedures, counted on to deliver outstanding service and superior quality around the world. Civco Medical Solutions, making image-guided procedures safer. And Maryland sitting there at 17-3, 5-3, split on the West Coast. But this is once again, this is Maryland basketball, and they're always at the top of the league. Yeah,
Brenda Fries grew up right down the road in Cedar Rapids. She runs great defenses, a 1-2-2. Little 2-3. She full court presses on makes and misses and free throws. So you got to be ready for relentless pressure to get it across the timeline. And then they just have some superior quick athletes. Watch number 7. She's very fast, very explosive. She goes rim to rim. We need to keep her in front of us. Number 12, you'll remember, her name is Yarden Garzon. She used to be an Indiana Hoosier.
Yep.
She shoots it from Israel. She's from Israel. Her distance is amazing. So now she's a Maryland Terrapin. So we got to watch her and number 6. Those are the key. We got to maintain that, and we got to we got to play with pace. We do that, and we can give ourselves a shot.
We'll see you Wednesday.
All right, God bless, and thanks everybody for coming. Go Hawks!
And you can stay tuned. More Hawk Talk as Ben McCullum is next right here from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. And tonight's special guest, Tate Sage, coming off a big victory against the Hoosiers. This has been Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, presented by Oak Knoll from their field.
Dives for lunch.
The Juicy Lucy. Essentially, it's a burger, but with cheese on the inside.
James Beard Award winners for dinner.
French technique, but Midwestern ingredients.
It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who can appreciate building a legacy, it's John Deere. We've been growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a Deere.
At MidAmerican Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
The best new cars. Honda. Make the best pre-owned cars. Honda certified pre-owned vehicles. Get the best value with Honda certified pre-owned vehicles. Honda backed with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Plus, every certified pre-owned Honda goes through a 182-point inspection and is reconditioned like new by factory-trained technicians with genuine parts. Search your local Honda dealer today.
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment, knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to Wellmark.com/every moment to find a plan right for you.
Hawkeye fans, gear up for game day with Big Grove. As an official craft brewery of the Iowa Hawkeyes, they bring you the ultimate game-watching experience. Sip on fan favorites like Easy Eddie, Citrus Surfer, and Neighborhood Beer while cheering on the Hawks. Can't make it to the stadium? No worries. Join them at any of their 4 Iowa locations in Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, and Solon. Big Grove Brewery, your official watch party headquarters of the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks!
In Minnesota, we don't hide from winter. We embrace it. When there's a nip in the air, we take on the trails. For every layer you wear, there's a new experience waiting for you.
It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, this has been Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, presented by Oak Knoll Retirement Community. Oak Knoll, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City community for 59 years. Also brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Powered by the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. Bud Light, proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. And by your local Ford dealers. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.